Greetings, good evening, or good morning. Greetings to all of you. Okay, baby, I'm live already, okay? Greetings. Welcome to this broadcast. I hope that you can hear clearly and that you can see clearly. Please let me know if the both are occurring. Of course, if you're in the diaspora, you would recognize this is a very, for me, critical time. Shalom to all of you if you're a saint, by the way. It's a very important day, or the beginning of one. You know, somebody said they got a first notification in months. Good evening and thank you all so much. On the natural scene, this is actually very embarrassing for Guyanese who have any degree of integrity or wisdom or common sense. But I'm beginning to realize that many people do not. But in the spiritual context, I will show you a video that may help to bring clarity to some of you. Thank you so much for the feedback. Okay, great. Someone is asking for notification. But I bid you shalom. It has been more than, and if you're new to this broadcast or you live in another country or you're not Guyanese, this may be very shocking for you to hear. But there were elections held for the determination of who would be in government and who will have the regional areas of this country under their administration. So it's called the general and regional elections. Almost 2 months or more than 2 months have passed, and there is not any official declaration as to whom or which party has won the general and regional elections in Guyana, South America. A country with a population of 750 just about 1,000 people, with less than 500,000 people voting. Troy, it's good to see you and I'm glad that you're here. I hope that you're well, my brother. Let me repeat that. In a country with less than 1 million people and a voting populace of less than 500,000, or just about, let's say 500,000. 2 months have passed and we are yet to be told which party won an election. In other nations of the world where there are sometimes over 100 million people voting, they know within 24 hours who or which group or which party would have won. But in a country with a voting population, an electorate of about 500,000, after 60 plus days, we do not know which party, political party, would have won. I would like to play for you a prophetic word that I have withheld from a live broadcast for quite a while, but I'll play it tonight since the recount begins tomorrow. And I want you Guyanese brothers and sisters, those in the diaspora, those who are not Guyanese, to see how Yahweh's word functions through the mouth of a servant of his. This is important. The God that I serve, whenever he gives a prophetic statement to me or any of his true servants, we do not have to wonder if it will happen. We just have to look to see when it happens. And yet I promise you that somebody will say that I am a false preacher, I'm a false prophet, and everything else. Yes, Susan Taylor, normally on Sundays at 2. Thank you for joining. So let me know if you can hear this video clearly, but I'll show you. And you'll hear me say, this was at one of our, I think it's the last session or second to last session we've had before I told the saints at Core Ministry International, Guyana, to stay home. We're not meeting. Little did I know that our facility that we meet at would have been turned into a COVID-19 hospital. Little did I know that Yahweh was preparing them, and I said to them weeks, repeatedly for months, what if we don't meet here anymore? We're living the reality now, and I'm glad that they've been prepared for it. Shalom, Sister Mish, good to see you. But let me, please, if you don't mind as well, share this broadcast with someone and invite them, because many people do not receive notifications and they would like to see this. I know many would like to do it live or be here live. Let me warn you as well that I'll be called a racist. I've been called racist forever. I don't know why. There's a principle in Guyana, South America, where if you speak and appear to be supporting the APNU AFC coalition, you are a racist. If you speak in support of PPP Civic, you are a traitor. That's if you're Afro-Guyanese, by the way. So I guess I'll be called racist this evening, given what I have to address. And then I'll be called a traitor, given what I have to address. But let me play this prophetic word for you. And you'll hear me mention the word tomorrow, because I was speaking this on the first day of March. The general elections and regional elections were held on the second day of March. So this is exactly Apostle Stephen Branham. So this is one day before the general populace voted. Now the police officers and the military would have voted the week before. But I'm going to play for you what Yahweh told me to tell all live on this in this message. And you tell me if you see this happening yet again. This is second prophecy about Guyana's election that he gave to me. Okay? So I'll press play now so you can hear. In this room, and joining us live or live on Facebook, are you hearing clearly? There will be people who may be uncertain as to whether they ought to vote tomorrow. There will be those who will be looking for direct instruction from me as to whom they should vote for tomorrow. There will be those who will be hoping that I endorse a party that they like so that they can go there with a great conscience since Apostle Nigel and I will totally do so tomorrow. There's a great likelihood that you'll be disappointed with God. I just paused the video. Are you hearing me clearly? Did you hear the video clearly? You heard me say about tomorrow, because obviously I was speaking on the somebody said the volume is a bit low. Okay. Maybe if you have headphones, you'll hear a little clearer, okay? So I'll play the video. Somebody said not too clear. I really want you to hear this as clearly as possible. Okay. Someone said the audio is bad. Okay, so I'm going to try to give I'll have a connection so you can hear me. Just give me 1 second. Now you surely hear with this. Just give me 1 second. I did not want to awaken the entire neighborhood, but I needed to hear this. Yes, the recording is not live. It's not live, Daniel. Exactly. Thank you so much for letting people know that. Okay, so let me make some adjustments to this so that you'll be able to hear possibly a little clearer. Just give me 1 second. Let me. Okay. All right, let's see how this goes now.
Because there will be people who may be uncertain as to whether they ought to vote tomorrow. There will be those who will be looking for direct instruction from me as to whom they should vote for tomorrow. There will be those who will be hoping that I endorse a party that they like so that they can go there with a clear conscience since the person I will honor before to do so tomorrow. There's a great likelihood that you'll be disappointed regarding all three. Additionally, I was led to be in a frame of mind of consecration in terms of fasting and just withdrawing myself from certain things at this time. Because I'm certain that most of the Guyanese population who will vote and who will not vote, who are eligible and who are ineligible, quite a few of you are yet to comprehend the significance of tomorrow being March 2nd according to Pope Gregory Stoleni. This election is unprecedented. There has never been one like it. There shall never be another one like it in the history of this country. I'm choosing to speak now because I'm grateful for Facebook in this regard, although they block me often. That there'll be a record to show here on YouTube that yet again a voice sent to Guyana could have spoken to this nation, and still those who claim to be of the church will not heed. Guyanese, old and young, shall not forget the results of March 2nd. In the year 2020, according to the civil calendar, many of you in this room shall tell your children and your great-grandchildren about this day and the events that followed that day. When persons from foreign territory
Were you able to hear clearly? So you would have heard all of you, I hope, would have heard. Shalom to all of you. Blessings. I hope that you all heard clearly. Okay. So this was said on the 1st of March. That now, obviously, I did not see anybody voting. This is the first day of March. The elections were the following day for the general populace. Can any one of you say that one thing in that prophetic statement was inaccurate up until what you see? Have you ever seen anything like this in Guyana's electoral processes for all of the years? For all of these years in this country, have you ever seen any elections like this? And do you envision there being another one of this nature? Yet, I'm saying to you again, as was said in a prophetic word, there are preachers who say that Nigel London, I am a false person. And that you should not heed what is being said to you. And the reason why I played this video for you is because, good night, Theodore, good to see my brother, is because what's about to happen tomorrow, or begin tomorrow, is a result that is not man's will. It is not man's wisdom. It is Yahweh's proving to the people in this country and if you read the scripture, you'll see prophets function in the same manner. In 2016, many of you are aware of that by now, Yahweh instructed me to speak to David Granger, the president, very clearly as to what his responsibility was regarding those who were dishonest, regarding defending the cause of the poor and needy of this country, regarding being cautious about foreign entities because of their intention to take or to control our oil industry. What have you seen happen since 2016 to now after that was said? Now, you are seeing a prophetic word. Many of you didn't see it. So those of you who want to comment, I'm saying to you now seeing why I speak the way I speak regarding these elections. Because Yahweh would have spoken extremely clearly to me. You will never see another one like this in this country. Never will you see it. It would not happen again. Because this election was not merely about two parties. This was about Yahweh, and you just heard it, showing the church in Guyana what is inside of it. Now, there's been a call by foreign entities, and there's a call by many to say that everybody saw the elections were rigged. I guess everybody is an electoral authority. And everybody know there was cheating. And I'm here this evening to show you, as usual, a practical presentation or example of what is happening tomorrow and why I do not subscribe to any such nonsense. I said, and I'm speaking this evening especially with the likes of Phyllis Jordan in mind, who claims to be the only Christian that was standing for righteousness and truth in all of this equation. And she's one of the presidential candidates, so she's obviously a part of all of this. But when you have people, and as he always said, from the church who claim to be of the truth, but do not uphold righteousness, the nation is in serious trouble. Persons are headed into this recount business tomorrow. And the two major political parties in Guyana have already agreed, in essence, that there will be a problem. They've already established cause for there to be an extension of the issue. Number one, the APNU AFC coalition had said no live streaming. Because according to Article 90 of the Representation of the People Act, it shouldn't happen. There should be secrecy regarding who you voted for or who's voting. So if ever there was going to be live streaming, this party already has the plan to object and say, well, the law was broken, we go to court because you're breaking the law. I have said, and will continue to say, that to have video cameras capturing in real time what is such a sensitive matter, and streaming it across the nation and nations of the world to people who are ignorant regarding electoral law is a catastrophe waiting to happen. It is obviously an effort that would easily cause people to say, okay, if I'm losing, if I'm one of the parties that's losing, all I have to do is get up and say, hey, you're cheating. Especially from PPPC or APNU FC. Y'all are cheating. And raise some alarm about some ballot, and that's the end of the process. And it's being streamed live to people who are ignorant of the law. Which tells me then that we as taxpayers in this country would have paid multiplied millions of dollars to officials who are called commissioners of the Guyana Elections Commission, to the chairman of the commission, to the CEO of the commission, to returning officers of the commission, to presiding officers who worked, to polling agents and the likes. And we paid millions of dollars to these people, multiplied millions of dollars, and still do not trust them. Why have elections then? Why would you as a taxpayer allow your money to be spent in a process or for a process to facilitate a process that you do not trust? I also said to you, this is a very brief video I'm doing here this evening. I also said to you that if people are vying for political positions in Guyana, and they call presidential candidates, and if candidates are telling you that you should not trust the only entity who is legally equipped and authorized to rule in the general and regional elections, then who declares the results of those elections? Now, the PPP Civic, along with what they said are all of the international agencies, the American ambassador, Yolanda, good to see you, and shalom, the American ambassador and all of them said there has to be transparency. Phyllis Jordan said there has to be transparency because there was a lot of fraudulent activities and there has to be transparency so everybody could see exactly what the results are. I would like to think then that if we're going to be calling for transparency regarding the entire electoral process and processes, I would like to think that there should be no issue, which is what I said 2 or 3 weeks ago. If you want to talk anything about a recount, which is illegal by the way, but if you want to say anything about any recount here, open the ballot boxes and scrutinize everything in the ballot boxes, including the ballots themselves, to prove whether they were authentic. That's that for me. If there's fraudulent behavior and activities regarding the elections, if persons would have stolen votes and all the rest of it, there is no better place or time to prove this than now. Okay? So I've got some money in my hand to show you what elements in the political arms of this country are saying to use Guyanese people. And some of you, because you're not savvy to certain things, you just hear them, and because you trust them as leaders, you say, well, okay, then maybe they're right. We shouldn't have this happen. But I will show you tonight, and I will only speak to those who have a conscience that's clear. If your conscience is skewed towards any party, then I can't talk. I'm not speaking to you. But if you are a fair-minded person, I will show you what rulers in this country and what politicians in this country are actually telling you as Guyanese to accept. There you go. There you go, Bernard de Silva, and you're a liar. He who alleges must prove. So if the PPP say, if the US says, if France, Britain, Canada, and all these people say, listen, there were fraudulent activities, then the allege, or those who are alleging, the accusers must prove this to be so. Here is the opportunity to prove it. Where I said, open every single ballot box, open every envelope in the ballot box, scrutinize every ballot, scrutinize the electoral list, the official list of electors. Let me see clearly where, if there are 500 ballots that were used, then only 500 names should be crossed off on that list. And if we discover that there's 700 names crossed off as voting, then we have a problem. There's only one way to find it out now, correct? Open the ballot boxes, open the envelopes that the presiding officers would have had to deal with, the different forms like 23A and 23 and these things. Let us see. I told you as well that no returning officer, none in this country, write statements of poll. None. They're given to them. But that's another story. So I'm going to present to you what politicians of repute, as they say they are asking us as Guyanese people to accept. And why there's a problem in this election that is divinely orchestrated. Because in 2016, if you recall the prophecy, Yahweh said clearly, there shall be great confusion, David Granger, in this election. Has anybody seen confusion? I have seen more than confusion in any other election in my life. So here I have some money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 Guyana dollars. I will show you what the politicians want us to accept. And you tell me if this makes sense to you. The PPP Civic. Who said that the Apnea FC rigged and Mingo rigged and everybody rigged? Okay. So my thing is, let me use money, because people like money. So they think better when they see money. I have $10,000 in my hand. Let us say that I lose some of my money. So somebody takes 5. I'm left with $5,000. Good? I go to the police station and I file a report. I say, officer, everybody saw. Everybody saw. Everybody. Remember that term from election? The whole world saw this man steal my $5,000. I'm here to file a report. This man is a thief. He stole my money, my $5,000. Everybody saw. The whole world could see. He's a thief. It was streamed live. He stole my money. The officer then has no choice but to do that which is right, which is to apprehend the person if he can be apprehended. And so let's solve this matter. So here we are, about to solve this case or have some lawful intervention, lest I harm him. So the officer goes into the man's pocket, and here he retrieves the other $5,000, or $5,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks exactly like the money I had before. And the neighborhood comes to see. All right? The neighbor comes to see what will happen to this matter. This is where the PPP Civic comes in that bothers me, and the likes of those who say, just simply count the ballots. This is where I have an issue, right here. The police officer who has this in his hand says, okay, in order for me to solve this problem, I shall scrutinize, I shall analyze this money. I will put the money under the laser because I want to see whether this money that I took from this man is counterfeit. It looks like your money. It looks similar to what you say was taken from you. But just because I'm a police officer, I want to solve the problem in case your money is invalid or your money is counterfeit. I want to solve your problem. I don't want to give you counterfeit money. I don't want to attribute counterfeit money to you so that you'll use it and there be cause to say that you are a fraud or a con. Okay, here is my issue. Imagine my telling the police officer, no, officer, no. I don't want you to say whether it's counterfeit. Just simply count the money. And as long as it's $5,000, give it to me. I don't care whether the money is counterfeit. Just give me $5,000 back. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? That if I genuinely want to prove that I'm getting back what is authentic and what is truly now, you tell me if that makes sense to you regarding, now that's money, but you tell me if that makes sense to you regarding ballots, where a political party says you robbed us, you stole votes from us, you did that. And I'm saying, okay, let's solve the problem. Let's examine every single ballot. Let's examine every single document related to this process so that we would not have any fraudulent behavior or we can find out if there's fraudulent activity. And then no, we don't want to find out all that. No, we don't have an interest in all that. Just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Problem solved. Does that make sense to you? If it makes sense to you, you are the problem. If it makes sense to you for there to be a cry for transparency, honesty, fairness, righteousness, according to Phyllis Jordan. And there's a process that can prove all of that. And the person who's saying that they were robbed say, no. We don't want to know if there was fraudulent activity. Just give us the numbers. And if you say that there's no problem with that, you are the problem. I'm saying to you that I have a serious issue with that. Because this is the first time, according to Yahweh's word, by the way, the first time that I've ever seen anybody who said they were robbed that had no interest in a thorough investigation to prove that it was so. That is our electoral process that lies ahead of us. And somebody from the PPP Civic is saying, Anand Nandalal, that it is illegal to scrutinize everything in a ballot box to verify whether the ballots are truly authentic and the numbers on the statements of poll are truly authentic. And I'm hearing from those who said that there was thievery and there was fraudulent activity, I'm hearing that it's unlawful to prove or disprove what they're saying. I will never vote. And I told you that I voted once in my life in Guyana. And I refuse to vote again. Because I said then when I voted in 1992, whenever it was, I will never vote again. Because I said in 1992, since then, that our political system is a gutter politics. It is disgusting, it is sick, and it is stupid. Since 1992, I've never voted again. Because I recognize something with Guyanese politicians. Guyanese politicians are the most disrespectful to intellectuals in this country. They despise fair-minded people. They hate honesty and uprightness. They cannot stand it. Exactly. No one who is innocent is scared of a thorough investigation. If you are innocent of any electoral fraud, why would you object? If I know that my money that this man stole was not counterfeit, why would I tell the officer, no, don't check the money to see if it's counterfeit. No, officer, don't check it. Please, don't check the money. If I know that my money is not counterfeit, why would I object to the officer proving to the man that he's a thief and he's also a counterfeit dealer? If I am the victim of thievery, I cannot comprehend why I would object to the one who is guilty being caused to have a few more charges laid to his feet. Laid at his feet. No, the PPP Civics, no, we don't want that. Just give us numbers to work with. Whether the ballot is authentic, whether the ballot is valid, whether the ballots have got, or there are 50,000 more ballots than there are people, that is irrelevant to the PPP Civic. Just count. And that makes sense to you. I therefore end this broadcast by addressing transparency without transparency. It is a disgrace, and I will say it until I die or until I see a change. It is a disgrace for a country that was once labeled 98 to 99% literate. It's a disgrace to see us now functioning on a level that is this illiterate and absolutely stupid. Can you imagine that the law, which is called the Representation of the People Act, is absolutely clear regarding what transparency is? The ambassador of the USA is not the law of Guyana. And because some of you are afraid to lose your visas, you are about to, or you have already been, kowtowing to these people. You should be expelled from Guyana. If you, as the Guyanese, because you want to travel to the US, would compromise your common sense just to retain a visa, you are absolutely stupid. You are a patriotic retard. The United States of America's ambassador is not the law in Guyana. The Canadian High Commissioner is not the law of Guyana. Guyana is not under Canadian rule. The British High Commissioner is not the law of Guyana. I don't care what their opinions are. Their opinions are irrelevant to the law. Irrelevant. The law of this country, when it speaks to transparency in electoral processes, do you know what it references? It's clear to everybody. Number one, the manner in which the person enters the polling station. Let's begin from there. As you saw on the news, there's an announcement made in the room. People are aware that the person is voting by ID card or by passport. That's known. They're aware whether it's proxy or otherwise. Do you understand that? In the polling station, when the ballots are cast, persons walk through the door and they're about to count, there is an announcement made in the room. People are hearing. Candidates have representatives or they themselves are there and they are hearing announcements made real time. That's transparency. Because nobody is saying, we won't tell them what the results are. We'll just call some numbers and tuck it away. Transparency is occurring from the beginning of the process. Let's not even talk about the registration process. So there's transparency, I'm talking on the day of election. When the ballots are counted, there's transparency. The presiding officer then writes the statements of poll, the numbers, gives it to every single candidate or the representative who's in the room. That's transparency. They're not hiding any figures from you because they heard the numbers called. They saw the ballots that were shown to be valid or not. The markings that are valid, that ballots that are invalid are also marked or spoiled ballots. All that. Okay, next. The same presiding officer, after giving every candidate or the representative who's present according to the law, give them statements of poll. That same person publishes a statement of poll on the outside of the polling station. That's transparency. They didn't hide the figures from that station. Every single station in this country, 2,000 plus polling stations, have got or should have had polling statements of poll published. Everybody could see. That's called transparency. Everybody can see. The same statement of poll is given to the returning officer. Everybody can see that, okay, they have got thus far statements of poll given to candidates or the representatives, statements of poll published on the outside the polling station, statements of poll given to the RO, returning officer. Same statements of poll are given to GCOM. Four times, according to law, there is absolute transparency. To add to that, according to Article 84(1), the returning officer then, given the statements of poll by the presiding officer, will announce the numbers given, that everybody has a chance to hear. That is called transparency. The American ambassador, the Canadian High Commissioner, the British High Commissioner, the Private Sector Commission, and all these different entities suddenly discover that transparency according to the law in Guyana means what they agree with is what counts. So the persons who are asking the typical, repetitious, absolute, irrelevant questions, because that's all they've been programmed to do. If there's one thing I've proven from this election by Yahweh's grace, is I've seen how many Guyanese who appear to be brilliant are absolutely stupid. Because if you are totally ignorant of something, the best posture to take is that of silence. So let me recapitulate to help some of you. Mingo got sick. That means he stole. Which means that if anybody gets sick in this country, in a certain position, that's theft, that's thievery, that's wickedness. In the context of doing the recount tomorrow, if anybody starts coughing in the room, that's theft. They cough because they want to give people COVID-19 and they want to steal the votes. I'm telling you how you people process. You'll hear that. So let's go to the next step. Mingo stole because Mingo got a heart attack. So he stole. He went to the hospital and he still stole. When he came back, he added 22, 42, 52, 62,000 votes. So Mingo is a thief. Mingo is a crook. Mingo is a criminal according to your reasoning. Excellent. Back to my point. Now we have a recount process, don't we? And the people who said Mingo added 22,000, 42,000, 52,000 votes, Mingo is a thief, Mingo had a heart attack, Mingo went to the hospital, so he stole. APNU AFC does not want to advertise their statements of poll. GCOM doesn't want to tell us his statements of poll. Mingo used, he just concocted some numbers on a spreadsheet and threw it out there for us to see. Mingo is a thief. Here is the point, back to the money. Back to the money. The police says, yeah, probably Mingo did all of these things. So why don't we go into the ballot boxes to verify and prove that what you said is true? And here's your response. No, we don't want to see, no, we don't want to see that. We don't want to know if Mingo stole for real. Just give us some numbers. And that makes sense to you disingenuous, dishonest criminals who appear to be honest Guyanese. I would not trust my sick dog around some of y'all if that is how you think. You are thieves. You are criminal-minded. For you to make accusations against people, and then there's a process to prove your accusations to be true or false, and you object to say, no, we don't want to do, don't do that. You are dishonest. You are criminals. And if you ask me, every one of you should be put before a firing squad. Because you're evil. Yes, I've said it. That's it, Kendra. Back to the money. Imagine. You say Mingo got sick, he went to the hospital, so he's a thief. You saying Mingo added 50 million votes, so he's a crook. You said that they rigged. Valda Lawrence rigged. Apnea C rigged. GCOM doesn't want to show the numbers because GCOM rigged. And GCOM then said, okay, perfect. Let's go back and open the ballot boxes to prove what you're saying is true. And then you said, no, don't do that. Just count some numbers and give us. We don't want to know if the votes are authentic. So PPP is telling me then that they are okay with receiving. They are okay with receiving invalid ballots to their credit. That's what I'm hearing here tonight. That's what I've been hearing or reading in the news. That the PPP Civic are saying to us as Guyanese that they are okay with being attributed or given or accredited with fake ballots. And you don't see what the problem is in this country. Let me say this without reservation. Anybody in this country who is going to lead me politically and tells me that they are prepared to be beneficiaries of an invalid, fake vote, you are a criminal. And I repeat, you should be put before a firing squad and shot until you're dead. Because what Yahweh caused this to reveal as well is the mind of those that you call honest. And that's the point I think some of y'all missed. The Christians, the men of God, the women of God, who are supporting an illegal process in this country is what Yahweh exposed right now for y'all to see. And some of you can't see it yet. Some of you cannot see yet the level of wickedness that are in churches who support such a wicked behavior. Can you believe that in my inbox, which I'll show you at some point, are at least two people who said they support the PPP Civic. It's in my inbox. Listen to this. And they text me privately because they say, listen man, pastor, as they call me, pastor, we saw that you say people should be shot. People should be executed if they were involved in electoral fraud. Listen to PPP Civic supporters telling me now. No, pastor, that ain't right. You're not a man of God. You shouldn't let people be shot if they steal votes. So I said, wait a second. You said Mengo stole. If Mengo is going to throw this country in such a degree of disgrace, why are you trying to tell me now that Mengo should not be dealt with utmost severity? I ask the question, why are you so scared of my statement that says that anybody, including the leaders of these parties, who are involved in electoral fraud should be shot and killed by a death squad, by a firing squad? Imagine they tell me, no, that ain't right, pastor, you shouldn't do that. No, don't let us do that. But I'm the one who is supporting evil. I repeat and I close. If you are going to tell me that somebody can steal your money, and when the police says they want to check this same money that they found on the crook, the criminal, to prove that it's not counterfeit, and you say, no, don't check the money, I don't want to see if it's counterfeit or not, you yourself are a criminal. Simple. And I repeat, my righteous call. Read Romans chapter 13 if it bothers some of y'all. Romans 13 is very clear that the authorities are established by Yahweh to deal with those who break the law. They will kill you. Read the book. It's called They Have a Sword. For what purpose? To rub your face and tell you that you're pretty and your makeup is coming off? Romans 13, read it for yourself. Romans chapter 13 is my position for saying this. Romans 13 says that the authorities are established by Yahweh, and anybody who's a lawbreaker shall be dealt with by those authorities. Therefore, it says they carry the sword. You want 3 votes? You want to steal votes? And by the way, you can join Apostle Stephen Branham. He's about to go live just after this broadcast, so just stay tuned for him. You want to steal votes? You want to write fake statements to poll? You want to be disingenuous? You want to make Guyana look like a mucking stock across the world? I'm saying to you, according to Romans 13, you should be shot by a firing squad. And shot until you die. Because this election, I said to you before, is Yahweh proving to us what we have in this country. The compromising politicians. Romans 13 says that the rulers are no terror to good conduct, but to bad. That's Romans 13 for you. It states, if you do what is wrong, be afraid. Because it is not for nothing that the governing authority holds a sword. They have the power of the sword. For the governing authority is Yahweh's servant to avenge, or is an avenger to punish wrongdoers. Is stealing wrong? Yes. Romans 13 from verse 1 to verse 6. Stealing votes is wrong. Therefore you should be shot and killed. Fake statements to poll is wrong. You should be put before a firing squad. Romans 13. I'm a preacher. Fake declarations are wrong. You should be put before a firing squad. And the next one is here for you. If you're willing to accept fake ballots to say that you win, you should be put before a bomb squad. I have given you script. Jesus loves them, Joel Abraham, but Yeshua doesn't. Yeshua hates wicked people. Jesus loves everybody. Yeshua hates wicked people. I thank you for your time. I appreciate your being here. And I hope that Guyanese will recognize that beginning tomorrow, you will see further that which you once upheld. And I hope that somebody in this country has courage to attach the crime of treason to electoral fraud. Do well. Do well. Continue to list all of the things, all of the discrepancies, all of the misgivings that occurred from the 2nd to the 5th of March. And when you're finished, when you're done with all that, tell me why you object to the people opening the ballot boxes to prove what you say to be true. That's what I want you to do. Good night, brothers and sisters. Good night, fellow Guyanese. Shalom.